So Lord Deben gave us a few challenges in terms of client leadership and in terms of his point of view on roads. I'll see how you think we're doing. Lower Thames Crossing, what's the point of it? Well, it's a new connection between Kent and Essex, which at the moment are two economies completely segregated by the River Thames. Okay, so this new crossing opens up opportunity right across the Thames estuary region. It also takes pressure off an existing crossing at Dartford, which is the only crossing anywhere east of Greenwich, all the way out to the sea. And lastly, it opens up a free-flowing route for the trade coming in through our channel ports up into the Midlands and across the rest of the country. So it's kind of a conventional business case for building a road. Right? But we've got a problem, because building a road in the context of a climate emergency is not hugely popular. What do we do with that problem? Well, the answer for us, at least, was take it head on. So our challenge really is, how do you deliver this infrastructure, deliver all this economic benefit, and do the right things in terms of net zero? Actually, can we use this project to really accelerate the progress of the construction sector towards net zero? And why do I say the construction sector? Because most people think about folks driving up and down on this new road. But we won't open it until the early 2030s. And if you actually think that decarbonisation of road travel to about a 2050 trajectory is credible, and I personally think it is. We basically know what the technologies are that get us there, and they are being rolled out today. Then actually you end up with most of our carbon footprint is construction. It's to do with building it, not the lifetime of people driving up and down it. And our footprint's just the same as pretty much any other infrastructure project. It's all about steel, cement and concrete, and it's diesel. So what have we done? Well, we started where everyone sort of tells you to start, and we did what we thought were the right things in terms of good carbon management practice. We got ourselves PAS 2080 accredited, which Maria will be pleased to hear. We built a pretty detailed carbon model of the scheme to understand where our footprint is. And we then took 30% out of it, and we said, okay, we'll set that as a limit, and we'll make a legal commitment to that, which we've done through our development consent order. So through our planning, we gave ourselves a planning obligation, essentially, to deliver within a limit. And we set it at 30% because that's what we saw in the market. That's what we believed that others were doing across the sector. We then deliberately procured for low carbon. So we asked the construction industry to come and deliver on a low carbon basis. And it was a significant part of our evaluation for our three big design and build contracts. So that's about £4 billion worth of construction contracts we put in the market. We said we want these on a low carbon basis. That went quite well for us, actually. I've got to say, the construction industry did quite well. They came back across the three. We've announced two, and we've got one to go. But all the winning tenderers essentially have committed to a lower limit for their contract than the one we asked them to commit to. So we're going to come out of that process about 50% better than doing nothing. And that's basically for free. Okay. Now, in case you think we're just going to leave it to the market to solve everything, we've actually invested a lot of effort trying to understand what our future supply chain might look like and what the technologies were that were out there, what was coming shortly, over the kind of period of our program. We wanted to be a super well-informed client so that we knew what to ask for, when to ask for it, and how to ask for it. We did a load of work on what those things might cost. We got that first 50% for free. But after that, you're into the areas where it starts getting increasingly difficult. You're going to be bringing forward new technologies, new approaches. There is some cost to those, at least in the short term. Some will have cost in the long term. If you do carbon capture and storage, it's always going to be more expensive than a chimney. Right? Having done all of that, we then realized actually that was really complicated. Why don't we just make this simple? Why don't we just say what carbon intensity we want for stuff? So we looked at those kind of big three challenge areas of concrete, steel, and diesel. We've actually done asphalt as well. And we said, okay, this is what we want. we want a carbon intensity of this for each of these products. We're basically choice editing out the worst performing products. But we are pitching the level for this scheme to really take us into quite a leading position. Broadly speaking, where we are on concrete is what the industry's already told us they can do. Steel is better than what the industry's told us it can offer. We know it's out there in the European market, and we know it will be available in the timeframes that we're talking about, but it costs more, and that's where we can help. Right? And diesel, actually, that's quite punchy. And that's probably the area where we see that we will need to support our value chain the most. And we're not just putting this all on our delivery partners and their supply chain. We recognise that as a client, we've got a role to play throughout. And there are some places where we need to play more than others. And actually, diesel is one of them. So we are out to market today. We launched a procurement for quite a lot of hydrogen, about 6,000 tonnes of hydrogen. Earlier this year. That process will run through till the middle of next year. But essentially, we are looking to secure a supply of hydrogen, so the availability of the fuel is off the table as a problem. And the construction industry can then come to the party with fuel switching in asphalt and with hydrogen as a fuel for big, heavy, mobile diggers and dumpers on our construction site. So all that work that we did on what's the art of the possible actually has been useful. We're not just relying on some fridge stickers. Okay. Right. So after kind of 3 years, actually, we've done a load of work. We want to maintain a really leading position as a project. It's provided great value to us already. It's quite difficult to make new road projects sexy when there's so much else going on in the infrastructure market, actually. But people do want to come and work on a program that's really pushing the boundaries on carbon. So it's done all sorts of things for us. And we're running a whole, it's quite a complex change program, actually, when you look at what we're trying to do across the project and with the industry. But if we were going to really try and simplify it, we would say, actually, if you just do these 5 things, you'll get a long way there. If you do past 2080, create the framework, know your numbers, and you contract for low carbon, that's both procure and incentivize for low carbon, that sets up designing out carbon in your supply chain. And then you can work on the materials, which is what we're doing through these kind of EPC type stickers, and basically raising the drawbridge in terms of what's acceptable in terms of the carbon intensity of the products used in our scheme. So it can be really complex if you want it to be, or you can just make it as simple as you possibly can.